Hi guys, and welcome back to Movies That Matter with the Viking. And some interesting news broke yesterday regarding Superman. Now, as we know, the last appearance from Henry Cavill's Superman is in 2017's Justice League, and Superman did make an appearance and a headless cameo in Shazam, which I didn't like. Reports say that Henry was supposed to go and do a cameo, but then conflict with schedules and things like that because he was doing The Witcher, so he couldn't get over to Shazam and do the cameo. Believe that if you want. I personally think if they really wanted him, he would have been really there. But anyway, that's not the news that broke. The news that broke was that Warner Brothers want to continue Superman. They want to make a Superman film. Now, after Justice League in 2017, reports came out that Supergirl was a priority for Warner Brothers to make a Supergirl standalone film, and there was some writers attached to it. The writer that was with Sonic the Hedgehog and I think Pikachu, he was down to do the script for it, which is okay. And there was reports that it was going to take place in the 1970s and stuff like that. But we were in the dark so long. Rather, we didn't know if Henry Cavill was going to come back as Superman or not. He didn't support any Release the Snyder Cut events or campaigns. He didn't tweet it on the 17th of November. I don't know why. We still don't know why he didn't engage and didn't do that. Maybe it's because he didn't want to get on Warner Brothers' bad side, because he was negotiating a new contract to be Superman and stuff like that. That's possible, and that's okay. That's his life. That's his career. Nothing against him not tweeting the hashtag out whatsoever. But we didn't know for months, or even years, if he would ever come back. It's been 3 years since we last seen him as Superman. Personally, I loved him in Man of Steel. I loved him in Batman vs Superman. They ruined his character. They ruined Superman in Joss Whedon's Justice League. So we didn't know. We really didn't know. When he was asked in interviews during Mission Impossible and during The Witcher, he said that he would love nothing more than to come back to portray the character again, to do a Man of Steel 2, to carry on the story from Man of Steel and do more with the character. He truly loves being Superman, and me personally, I think he's the best Superman of all time. He really embodies Clark Kent, really embodies Superman. Just look at him. He's a specimen of a man. He looks like a Superman. He's built like a fucking shithouse, and he can act and he can play the character. So I always wanted to see him come back. And I do think we will get to see him come back. I think with The Rock attached to the DCEU right now is very important, considering his ex-wife is Henry Cavill's agent. And The Rock as Black Adam could appear in Shazam 2 or even Shazam 3. And then the Black Adam coming could intertwine everything together between Shazam and Superman. Look, The Rock is a mega star, and he is box office. He is the biggest action star on the planet at the moment. He's probably one of the last few action stars there is that's guaranteed to kind of hit big at the box office and make a film profitable. And he sees a big audience, a big opportunity to have Black Adam and Superman and even Shazam in the one film. And I think that's a huge possibility that we could see in the future. With The Rock added to the DCU, it's not only positive. The report that came out was that Warner Brothers want to go ahead with a Superman film, and they don't think it makes sense to go and do a Supergirl film, especially coming off the back of 2017's Justice League. Personally, I think it would be a bad idea as well, because to introduce Supergirl, I think you need Superman there. You need an established Superman there to show Supergirl, or to kind of show what it means to be Superman in a way. Now, of course, in Man of Steel, there was an extra pod and it was opened, and we never got to find out who was in that pod, why it was opened, what happened there. And then if Supergirl is in the world of the DCEU, then where has she been all this time? So I think it's important to get a Man of Steel 2 out there, another Superman film, and then you can introduce Supergirl in the film. And it's more of an easy transition. You can market a Superman film, you can introduce Supergirl. You don't have to put so much pressure on Supergirl as a name and then hope that it is a box office success. So, question is, Warner Brothers want to make a Superman film. They want to continue and make Superman. Does that mean Henry Cavill is coming back? I don't know, but I think he has to come back. I think for them to do a new origin story for a Superman film, it's too soon. I know by the time another Superman film comes out, it'll probably be a decade since Man of Steel, but I think Batman vs Superman only came out in 2016, and Man of Steel and Justice League, it's too soon to recast and do a new incarnation of the character. Now, a big thing here is that the report says that Warner Bros. Didn't want to do a Superman girl coming back off of the 2017 Justice League. Well, then that means that they kind of want to stay in the universe that they have right now. They want to have a DCEU to an extent, and they want it linked to that Justice League film and the Batman vs Superman and the Man of Steel. Because then why would they care making a Supergirl film if they're worried about coming off the back of 2017's Justice League? Why would they be worried about that? Joker was its own thing and that made $1 billion. Aquaman did well for itself, that made $1 billion. So why are they so concerned with Supergirl? Maybe they see a big opportunity to start a universe of Kryptonians in the DCEU, starting with Superman in Man of Steel 2, and then you can introduce Supergirl and villains like Brainiac and Black Adam and Shazam and things like that, and intertwine everything together. Now, for anything like this to happen, it's going to take a long time. Of course, with the virus going on, everything is pushed back. Henry Cavill was in the middle of shooting The Witcher when the virus hit, and that's all production, so he'll probably go back to that when everything is okay. That's a big launch shoot. It takes 6 to 8 months, I think, for the first season to be shot and done and completed, and then to be put on Netflix. It's going to come on Netflix in sometime in the middle of 2021, the summer of 2021. I think that's what they're looking at right now. But the longer this virus goes on, the longer that will be pushed back. It could even be 2022, and that's a big launch shoot for Henry Cavill to do. Now, of course, he said in the past in interviews that he has no problem doing 2 projects in the 1 year. He can go and do a Superman film, and he can go do The Witcher. I'm sure that's a possibility. Loads of movie stars do things like that. Look at The Rock, he's doing 90 films a year and finds time to work out and do all that stuff. So that's not a problem, but I just think that if a Superman film is going to come, it's going to be a while from now. It's not going to be in the next year, it's not going to be in the next 2 years, it's going to be a while. And I think our best shot looking at Henry Cavill back as Superman is in the Snyder Cut, and it kind of gets messy in a way because we don't know what Warner Brothers' plans is for Superman. We don't know what their plans is for the DCU in a whole. Is it still linked in a way to Zack Snyder's Justice League if that comes out? Aquaman had elements from Zack. Birds of Prey is in the same world. Shazam had the kind of Easter eggs and things linking to the DCU that Zack created. So it's interesting to see what's going to happen that way. But me personally, I can't wait to see Henry Cavill come back as Superman. I hope he comes back. He is Superman in my opinion, and I'm not interested in seeing anyone else take up the mantle of Superman, at least until we get to see Zack Snyder's Justice League and we get to see him Man of Steel 2, and then Henry's had his four or five films, and then he's tired of the role, then that's okay. Then we can bring someone in new to do it. But I think there's so much unfinished business there with the character and on the big screen. Henry Cavill is still a young guy. He turned 37 the other day. He could play Superman for another 10 years if he wanted. But he's getting bigger as a star as the years go on, with Mission Impossible, The Witcher, and things like that. So he could be Superman for another 10 years. He could elevate the character even more. And with him being such a star power, you can introduce newer characters into the DCU, newer superheroes like Supergirl, like Superboy, Superdog, whatever that dog's name, I forget. But and also with The Rock there, you can also elevate Henry Cavill's Superman and his star power. So there's so much opportunity. It makes no sense, in my opinion, to recast everyone. It just doesn't. There's no point. It's not like any of the films, bar Justice League, were a big box office critical flop. The rest of the DC films made money, and I want to see him come back, and I hope that's what happens. So, but also some other stuff that's going on online. The director of Suicide Squad, now David Ayer. Now, if you go back and watch the very first trailer for the Suicide Squad, it's very different tonally, and some scenes from the film that we got to see in August of 2016. Me personally, I love Suicide Squad. I think it's a good movie. It's fun. I had a good time when I went to go see it. Good soundtrack, which won an Oscar, won an Oscar for best makeup, and then had a platinum or something like that for music. So all in all, Suicide Squad was an enjoyable film for me. the cinema I went to go see it in was packed, and everyone had such a good time, and it made a lot of money, loads of money. It overperformed at the box office. It had star powers like Will Smith in it, the Joker, Batman was in it briefly, but the marketing for the film was very good, and it was a success. But David Ayer, till this day, gets a lot of shit from fans, from just haters online, saying he ruined the film, this terrible film, over sexualized Harley Quinn and all this stuff. And David Ayer has apologized on his Twitter to certain people, and but I just feel sorry for the guy. But lately on Twitter, he's been liking posts, and he's been posting stuff from his film of Suicide Squad. And in particular, we know that stuff went on after Batman vs Superman and Zack Snyder's Justice League. They changed everything, but they also went and changed aspects of David Ayer's Suicide Squad. They went back and did reshoots. They changed a lot of the scenes. They cut a lot of the scenes. If you go back to 2016 and look at interviews with Jared Leto, who played the Joker, you can see that he is very visibly upset because they cut a lot of his scenes in the film. He even said there's enough for an entire Joker film, and they cut it, which is terrible in my opinion. But David Ayer liked a tweet on Twitter from one of the guys I follow on Twitter, from Kerry Vanderberg. And Kerry said this, he says, "I met someone at San Diego Comic-Con who used to work at Warner Brothers and saw the film before the reshoots. She said it was the better movie before reshoots, and executives wanted it changed to be more Deadpool-like. So I believe Ayer completed it and changed it as a result of the reshoots." So David Ayer had his cut of Suicide Squad done. And David Ayer ended up liking that tweet as well. So that adds more weight to the theory that his film was completely changed, and the film that came out was not his film at all. It still did well box office and stuff like that. And I like it. And a lot of DC fans and comic book fans and fans in general like the film. A lot of people hate it and give it a lot of shit as well. But to be honest, it's not one of the worst comic book films of all time. It's a good. I like it. Good action. The chemistry between the cast is absolutely brilliant, but it wasn't his film. Just go back and watch that first trailer. Completely changed and all that. So that's hard for someone who's a David Ayer fan who enjoyed his film Fury, and he made in 2014 with the likes of Brad Pitt. He's a good director, and he was done dirty by Warner Brothers. He also said on his Twitter that were you given the option of doing a Suicide Squad 2? And David said yes, but he chose Birds of Prey. So we know that David was working on a film titled Gotham City Sirens, which that script was then transitioned into Birds of Prey, a film that was directed by Cadian. It came out in February. That critically did okay, but in box office terms, it didn't overperform. It didn't do really that much. It made its budget back, and I don't think it made that much profit. I enjoyed the film, but I would have rather to see David Ayer's take on the film, because I think he's a better director and he's more experienced with big budget films and things like that. So it's a disappointment that he never got to come back, but he said he chose Birds of Prey, and looks like Warner Brothers didn't want him there. So he's been done dirty by Warner Brothers in the past, and they really fucked up his vision for Suicide Squad, because it was trying to intertwine with Zack Snyder's vision coming off of Batman vs Superman when Superman died. But that's not the only thing he's been doing on Twitter. He's also been sharing some pictures from his Suicide Squad film. He shared one image of Batman. Do you remember when Batman is chasing Harley and Joker down the streets of Gotham, and then Joker's car goes into the water and Batman goes in to kind of save them, and he ends up saving Harley, and he puts the thing on his mouth so he can breathe underneath the water, and it has a Batman symbol on it. That's cool. He has a picture of that on top of a piece of paper. It has top secret, of course, of the Amanda Waller folder of all the characters of the Justice League, or it's either the one of the no, it's not that one. It's the one where it reveals all the people who's going to be in the Suicide Squad. So Harley Quinn, Captain Boomerang, Killer Croc, etc., and things like that. So that was pretty cool to see, and I wouldn't mind having that. I say his house is full of cool stuff from Suicide Squad. He also released another image that I still don't kind of know what it is. I'm sure it's from the original art concept of his cut, or his intended cut of Suicide Squad. I don't know if they filmed this scene. I don't know if it got to be completed or anything like that with effects. but I know the concept and the ideas of what they were trying to do with Suicide Squad were changed in terms of the villain. Steppenwolf was supposed to be supposed to make an impact in Suicide Squad, and the ending and all that was changed. But the picture kind of has a writing over it as David Ayer, and then property of Warner Brothers. And it's hard to make up. Now, maybe people in the comments might know more than me than what this means in terms of, is it similar to something that happened in the comics and things like that. But it looks pretty cool, and it's hard to know exactly what was his intended cut of Suicide Squad, what he exactly shot and things like that. And I hope to see an Ayer cut someday. But why is he doing it now at the minute? Why is he kind of starting this kind of train of releasing images and talking about Suicide Squad more and more, and even apologizing and even talking about aspects of his original vision? Why is he doing it? Is it because he sees a correlation going on at the minute with Zack Snyder's Justice League? Does he know that there's talks happening with Zack? Well, we know there's talks happening with Zack at the minute. Well, not right now, but there was about him coming back and doing something with his film. So does David Ayer want to get on that? Does he want to see his film released? Because it's all done, it's completely shot. He didn't have to go back. It's not like he needs more money to go back and reshoot parts of Suicide Squad. He shot his film, it was done, and then he was made go back and do reshoots, and it was changed and things were cut. So is he trying to get on this train now? There is a big fan base. The fan base that is there for the release of Snyder Cut movement is definitely there for release the Ayer cut. Definitely. Everyone who wants to see the Snyder Cut wants to see David Ayer's intended version of his film, because we're doing this for artistic integrity. So he also kind of said that he felt bad for Jared, because Jared put a lot of work into his Joker and things like that. So it looks like he was made change things with Warner Brothers, and it was tough on him. It was tough on Jared Leto doing his betrayal of the Joker, because the two of them, they get a lot of shit to this day because of what happened. Unfortunately, I liked what happened. I tell people that we can't really judge Jared Leto's Joker because we only got to see a few minutes of his Joker, and loads of the scenes were cut. So whenever single scene that he shot that they wanted to put in the film is released, then we can judge his Joker, because for now we only got to see snippets and cut scenes and things like that. So for me, I like what I saw. But for the people who say he's the worst Joker of all time and things like that, and David Ayer is a terrible director, I'm sorry, that just doesn't add up, and it just doesn't make any sense. An Oscar winner actor and a very, very good director, they don't turn bad overnight, not at all. If they were let do the job that they were paid and hired to do, then I'm sure it would have turned out a lot better than it did. But other DC news that we have is a film that was announced a long time ago now, and we haven't really heard anything about it since, is New Gods. So New God is this kind of mythology kind of comic, and it implements kind of, it's a dark side and things like that. Okay, it was supposed to be directed by Ava DuVernay, that's her name I think, and she was pending to direct the film, and we haven't heard anything about it in a while. She's talked about it a few times on her Twitter account and stuff like that. I think she's kind of liked things against the Snyder Cut and things like that, but I won't say much about that. But for me personally, I'm excited to see a New Gods film. I'm not really excited to see a New Gods film because I want to see the Snyder Cut first. I want to see Darkseid in that film. I don't want them to recast Ray Porter. I want to see Ray Porter's incarnation of Darkseid and his voice and what way he was going to play him and stuff like that. I don't want to see a new actor coming in, and then if the Snyder Cut is released, then I don't really care about this New Gods because it's a different actor and all this. I don't really care. So that she said that a script is still being worked on. It's not finished yet, and I don't think this film is going to happen, because Tom King, who wrote the comics, I think, on New Gods and things like that, she tagged him in a post regarding the script and things like that. But it's been a long time since this film was announced. We're now in 2020, halfway through the year. There's just even a script made yet. Why wasn't this script already done? It should have been completed by now and they're ready to go and shoot if they have to. So if a script isn't even done, and they still haven't even cast anybody, they haven't even gone into pre-production, they haven't even started shooting, then they have to go through post-production, then you have to wait and market the film and things like this, especially with this virus, everything that's put back, it's going to be a long time before we get to see a New Gods film, and I don't think this is on Warner Brothers' priority list, because a film like this, New Gods, it's going to be full of CGI. It's going to take a long time to shoot this film. It's going to cost a lot to do this film. And I think that Warner Brothers right now are looking at not making easy cash, but making films with characters who are known and that are guaranteed to make profit back. If you make a film with Superman, it's going to do well. The Batman that's coming, it's going to do well. Wonder Woman, it's going to do well. Things like that with household names, because a lot of studios are losing money right now. They're losing money and films are being pushed back and pushed back. They can't afford to release a film and it flops. They can't afford to put 200 million into a film and then it does poorly. Maybe a year ago they could have, because everything is okay and they have their profits and things like that. But now with the virus, with everything shut down, money is coming in slowly for these people. So they need a big hit in their hands. They need another Joker to come out this year and make $1 billion. Another Aquaman to make $1 billion. That's why Christopher Nolan's Tenet is very important to them. Wonder Woman is very important that it comes out this year because it makes money. So for me personally, I don't think New Gods is going to happen, especially in the next 3 years, because Batman is a priority, Wonder Woman is a priority, Superman, as we know, is a priority. The Flash film is coming also, and who knows what's going to happen with Zack Snyder's Justice League. So I think Warner Brothers want to make properties that they're guaranteed to make money back with, and New Gods is very tricky because not everyone knows the characters that would be in New Gods. You need some big actors in that film, you need a really good script, you really need really good marketing campaign for that film to do well, and so I think that that's down the back, that's a long time away. So that's all the news that I have to talk about today. Let me know what you think of the possibility of Henry Cavill coming back as Superman. They definitely want to move forward with a Superman film. Do you think they should recast, or should Henry come back and continue his vision and his character development? Also, what do you think of David Ayer's comments regarding the Suicide Squad and liking tweets and releasing pictures? Do you think he is trying to start a campaign for his film and his cut to be released because of all the talk of Zack Snyder's Justice League and the possible talks between Zack and Warner Bros. About the film coming out maybe on HBO Max? And are you excited to still see the New Gods film with Ava DuVernay? That's her name. Are you excited to see that? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. Come follow me on Twitter at MovieWolf100. Come follow me on Instagram at Moviesthatmaherwtheviking. And you'll also find me on Facebook at Zack Snyder's Justice League. Thanks guys, and remember, stay positive.